Johnny Mercer, the former Conservative MP who was defeated by a fellow soldier, has managed to evade the threat of jail for refusing to cooperate fully with a public inquiry into alleged unlawful killings by the SAS in Afghanistan. The inquiry, led by Judge Charles Haddon Cave, had requested Mercer to provide the names of 2 military sources in confidence, a demand Mercer steadfastly resisted. The inquiry, examining allegations that up to 80 Afghan civilians were unlawfully killed by the SAS between 2010 and 2013, had set a final compliance deadline for Mercer, which he missed. Following this, a spokesperson for the inquiry noted that Mercer had provided further information and agreed to assist further, leading Judge Haddon Cave to lift the threat of jail for the time being. Despite complying to some extent, Mercer maintains his position, saying, "My position remains unchanged from the beginning of the year. I will always do all I can to assist this important inquiry. I will not betray those I served with who have confided in me, whatever the cost." It's a bit of a sort of Thomas More moment. Except, when you look at the way he handled the hustings with the person who defeated him in the general election, he doesn't come off as rosy white as he initially would have done. Is it rosy white? It's not really. Anyway, bleach white. He comes off as a little bit soiled, and that's the major problem. Mercer had previously testified before the inquiry and highlighted the importance of allegations made by his sources. One source, a senior officer, had warned about the scope of an ongoing military police investigation into the SAS, while another, a former SAS member, had described being asked to place a dropped weapon near a dead Afghan to falsely suggest that the soldiers acted in self-defense in shooting the men in the house. Judge Haddon Cave recognised the gravity of the situation, had asked Mercer to submit the names confidentially, and despite the inquiry's assertion that the second soldier could hold critical evidence, Mercer refused, and persistently refused, citing a commitment to his sources' confidentiality and condemning what he perceived as attempts to assassinate his character by the judge. No need to do that now. He managed to do it quite well during the hustings in the general election. The inquiry faced criticism over its handling of the situation. Protect, an organisation representing whistleblowers, argued against jailing Mercer, suggesting it could deter future whistleblowers, especially within the military, and that's absolutely true. And while Judge Haddon Cave initially demanded Mercer comply by threatening contempt of court charges, the latest developments indicate a retreat. Mercer has supplied additional information about the allegations, which appears to have satisfied the judge temporarily, and consequently the threat of a trial for contempt and possible jail time has been lifted, albeit Mercer remains firm in not revealing his sources' identities. I'm inclined to agree with Mercer, actually, in this particular case. I think if sources are providing information confidentially, and a third person is then relaying that information to a court, they are certainly under an obligation to protect those sources, simply on the principle of whistleblowing, rather like a journalist should protect those sources, or a priest. And I think Judge Haddon Cave overstepped the mark. That said, I don't think Johnny Mercer has behaved impeccably, and as I say, his reputation has been badly tarnished by his behaviour during the election campaign. Mercer has underscored the strain the process has placed on him and his family, and reiterated his commitment to protecting those who confided in him despite the pressure from the inquiry. The inquiry continues to investigate the grave allegations of extrajudicial killings and potential cover-ups by the SAS, with the resolution of Mercer's Standoff highlighting the complexities and the sensitivities involved in such cases. But the judge has said that he's going to hold off punishing Mercer for the time being, so it's a standoff rather than a back down.